Hey, podcasters, what's cracking? Today's podcast is with a beautiful person I know, Sindy Bartrim. In the old days, we worked at the Castle Theatre restaurant. Then we went over to Utopia Theatre restaurant, which lasted 10 shows. And it was pulled down in the middle of Surfers Paradise. And Draculas were pretty happy about that. Then Cindy's gone on to join in a cover band, Rear Vision. And she plays all around the north side of Brisbane nowadays. She's a dental assistant. And what I find really, really interesting, though, is she's into roller derby. Roller derby. Do yourself a favour and go and see a roller derby match one day, anywhere on the Gold Coast. Sindy tells me in this she's recently just switched from the Gold Coast team to the Tweed Valley. Are the Vikings or something? Tweed Valley? I don't know. Anyway, she's got great stories. It's always awesome seeing Sindy, and we had a good time. And let me tell you, I feel really, really, really good right now because I just came back from teaching my friend Anna Dare, her son Oscar, Anna and Oscar, to surf out at Broadbeach. And to be honest, I really haven't paddled myself for weeks, and not only do I feel good for just passing on something to a little bloke like Oscar, he was a natural too, but they both got out of their comfort zone a lot and got freaked out. We're talking about sharks, but they just did it, and we're all buzzed walking back. You know, when you walk back from the surf with your surfboard, and you sort of just pass the test. Well, it's important to pass the test every day, no matter what it is. Whether you ride your bike to work and you get that little buzz like, I survived, you have to do that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in once again. Sindy, are you there?
Oh wow, I'm excited by today, because you know why? Why, Sindy?
Why are you excited?
Because you and I, we worked in theatre restaurants for a million years, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
And like a million years. And you were, by the way, Sindy Bartrim, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm trying not to do this a lot in this podcast thing, is talk too much. I've noticed every time I play back, I'm like, man, can you let them talk? But I want to get this bit out first.
Go.
Is when you and I first met. As we know, I showed up at the Castle Theatre restaurant for an audition to do something I've never even thought about. They're like a comedy act in a club.
No, the best audition ever.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into that bit. I want to get in the fact that before then I was racing cars for years.
Yes.
So I was just racing speedway and other cars all the time.
And that was what your resume was as well.
Yeah, I know. What a dork. But anyway, in the space of, I think that was a Wednesday, I applied for that, and something like the following, if it wasn't the following Friday, that Friday night we did a show, it was the one after.
Yep.
And from that day forth, with the help of you, who's a really talkative person, like always talking to me and giving me support, you really changed my life. And I'm not trying to suck up your beautiful ass here.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
But yeah, hello.
That's very cool. I really love that. I love hearing that because I got from really, really young, my family has always been, like my mother is that morning person. I fucking hate morning. Hates it. And my mother would sing, "Oh, what a beautiful morning," every bloody morning to us, and she would wake us up, and you'd be like, I literally, if my mother tried to wake me up, I would strike her. I would not hit her, but I would strike her, get the hell away from me.
Like the same word, same song every day.
Every
like
day.
With an opera voice?
Yes. Oh, what a beautiful morning. And it's like, oh God, shut up. Every morning, but that's how positive, and she still is that insanely positive, constantly positive human being. She drives you crazy how insanely positive. Most people, when you first meet her, it's nobody can be that positive, and she is. She's just crazily is. And my father's the complete opposite. He's that rough bloke that just, and which had all these women around him constantly, and his favourite line was always, even the bloody animals were neutered.
Yeah.
So, like, he never had a bloke around him. So, of course, when we produced boys for him, he was wrapped.
Yeah.
But then, of course, my son is gay. So he's had to learn that, boys can be awesome and blokey and still be gay. And be gay, that's awesome too.
Yeah.
So he's had to
And
learn
Jack
that.
is an awesome gay guy.
Hell
Jeez,
yeah,
he's
that
funny
guy.
he's on my Facebook, right? he's a good, you know what I mean?
I
Every
do.
now and then I go, whoa!
There is some insane stuff
But-
that you go, hello, okay, teaching mama something there.
And, at least he had I say this lately, I haven't said it on this thing before, but when people say that, in the old days, people would say, you chose to be gay, right?
Yeah.
I think, could you imagine being a young man, and having to tell, firstly, your own father and your family,
When the headspace
that's the
is...
craziest thing you could have to do, and the fact that you love other blokes' bums. I'm serious. You
Which
are
is
clearly
funny.
born with a, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and Jack is this really confident kid from day one.
Yep.
And
And he had some...
so I'm
he
sure
had
he's
some struggles.
teaching people around him. Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. He always
Yeah.
will, hey, because there's a lot of.
No, not gay struggles. He had struggles as a human being, because the kid has Tourette's and he has ADHD, and he's had those struggles all his life. And so I've always been that human being. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Nobody gets
Have
that.
you got
Nobody-
Tourette's too?
I probably do. I have the other end of Tourette's.
I can't believe you haven't sworn in this whole thing. It's been like 1 minute.
I'm trying to behave.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's, as my mother said, you have been educated, and you are an educated human being. You've had articulation. You can articulate well, and you use your vocabulary. And I said, but I say fuck so beautifully, Mum.
Oh, yeah.
I articulate the word fuck so well. So you could be proud of that. She's like, oh my god.
And you, when I met you, I didn't really know your history, but I knew that you had been in Darwin.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I learned a lot in
yeah,
Darwin.
no doubt we've both grown up.
Yeah.
That was probably 10 years ago at the Castle, the restaurant, and
Oh my
Tugan.
God, yes.
And so we were, both young, and you were swearing heaps, and I'm like, and yeah, she's from Darwin.
But I'm not.
She's no,
I only
no.
spent 4 years there, but they educate you
Yeah.
there.
It's a wild town, that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those places that you either love or you hate it. And I think because of the climate, that definitely leans towards which way you like it or don't like it.
Yeah.
So,
Have you
yeah.
been back there since?
No, and my husband, Johnny,
Yeah.
he's never been there. I'd love to take him there because I think he would really love it, because we're actually hoping, keep our fingers crossed, we might be going to Alice in June, which is a good
Wow,
time
cool.
because John, not used to that sort of heat and not knowing that sort of heat's a good time of
Yeah,
year
it's
to go.
beautiful, actually.
Yeah, so I will take him to, because we're going to meet friends of ours at Ayers Rock. Well, excuse me, Uluru. Sorry, politically incorrect.
No, do you want to hear something crazy? At home, my wife and I, Kaori, who you know, Kaori,
Yeah.
we're spinning out because her neighbour in her hometown, her boss and her neighbour, so there's two adults there.
Mhm.
There's another two adults that are friends of theirs, and one little girl. They're in Australia right now.
Yeah.
They actually probably will be in Brisbane by tonight. Guess what they did? Right
What?
now, you will appreciate this because you've
Right.
been in the outback.
Mhm.
They flew straight to Sydney,
Okay.
got a hire car, jumped in a car and said, let's drive to Alice Springs.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And I have done the drive from here to Darwin. It is insane.
It's
But go
nuts.
on.
And the thing is, I said, well, you've got to make contact with her. And her mum is telling
Yeah.
my wife
Yeah.
about their travel. I said, no, you need to actually get onto them and give them a local phone number here because we know, you
Yes.
and I, you know, what count, like people are tricky out there. And I said, well, surely they've got a GPS. Oh, no, they didn't actually get one.
Oh my
Well, are you crazy?
God.
And the only time they're contacting Japan is when they get to their motel and they're expecting Wi-Fi. And so far, they've just been they're camping, by the way.
Excellent.
They've only stayed,
They've never been anywhere in this country, and that is
Yeah.
so good.
So, but they're doing 1,000 kilometres a day. They're mad.
That's
Without a
that's
GPS, I know it's going to be the greatest time of life. But
Ever awesome.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
more people should do that. More
Yeah.
people need to just get
Yeah.
life by the balls
Yeah.
and just go, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Like
good
we all
point.
get
All right, you're making me feel better about it.
You know what I mean? Like people get stuck in this shit that they think their responsibilities of what they are supposed to do because life tells them that's where you're supposed to fit, and that's how you're supposed to do it. And I think that's the biggest thing I ever was taught from my family, is that nobody fits anywhere.
Yeah.
We just have this headspace that we're supposed to, and we try to do everything to fit, and yet we don't fit. We're not supposed to. I mean, you can look in biblical stuff, you can do whatever study you look at, we were never meant to be the same. That's why we don't look the same.
Yeah.
I mean, even bloody identical twins. My mother and my auntie are identical twins, and yet they're not the same person. And yet most people look at them and go, oh my God, how they're exactly the same. But they're not. We're not meant to. So why the hell do we constantly live in these, what's that song? Little boxes, little boxes. Why do we do that to ourselves?
Yeah.
We can, when we have the right, it's a one shot at this. We get one shot. You of all people know, after having that horrendous freaking that accident, that bloody accident was horrid.
Yeah,
You should know.
Yeah.
One shot. You were a lucky son of a bitch. You made it out the other side, and you get one shot at this shit.
Yeah.
And the amount of women that I've met, they've had breast cancer, and you see the difference in that human being going from this person before they had cancer, survived that shit, and now they grab life by the balls. So good on that family for just throwing it out there and just going, it's scary, but what is it? If fear is the only thing that's stopping you, then shit, you need to tell fear to piss off.
Well, and sometimes it's you want to always be a good boy or girl to your parents. You know, and that could go on for 10 years too long, until you realise, hang on a minute, they're not even judging. They're not even really judging you.
Your parents love you because you're just who you are, and it's your head that tells you that they don't. It's just because they don't do it the way you think they're supposed to do it. Yeah.
What I've got to ask you. You know how your mum is a twin?
Yes.
I've had this theory recently.
Yes.
Whenever we get to a family barbecue or something, and everyone loves their family. I'm not getting into that, but as we're about to probably live to be 100.
Yeah.
But we've come from not long ago only living till roughly 40 to 60 years of age.
In my family, all 100.
All 100?
All hundreds. They're all old, except for my grandmother who just passed a couple of years ago. But yeah.
Well, actually,
we're all old people.
I've got to make. Okay, I'm blowing my whole theory out of the water because someone said to me the other day, no, the fact that they'd say the average is low because a lot of babies wouldn't make it, but a lot of people would still make 80, 100 in the old days. But because the mortality rate for being an infant was so small, it kept the average age down.
That's right.
Yeah, but now we're generally, with all these things, we're probably going to live to 80, 100. A lot of us.
Yes.
But my question is, for your twin auntie and your mum, around the 40-year mark, do you sort of get the shits with each other? You know what I mean? You just, everything you say, you're like, oh, can you stop? Because we're naturally, you could say for the last thousands of years, we shouldn't be living this long for a start. We're sort of like, hang on a minute.
I don't know.
Oh, there's another 100 years of you? Ah!
I think those two, because they have done the whole live together, live away from each other, Auntie Rhonda in Melbourne, Mum in Darwin, and then, they've done that whole... now.
At least they've got different stories.
But there's, as frequently, as much as, saying that whole turning it around that they're not the same people, but yet they do a lot of things that are the same. The amount of times that they do more things the same when they're apart. It's almost like something brings them together, that whole, like something as simple as them cutting all their hair off when, and they'll do it without telling each other, and then all of a sudden they'll go, I got all my hair cut off. Yeah, so did I. And, just weird little things like that. But now the pair of idiots, they're both living in the same piss-ass little town in the middle of bloody Queensland, Gingin. Yeah.
Oh, you're about the fifth person to say Gingin in the last month.
Isn't it crazy? And it's like, most people don't even know it, and then as soon as somebody mentions it, all of a sudden there's just this...
My uncle lived there.
Mum and Dad are on 25 acres.
Really?
It's heaven.
So both sisters are up there?
Yeah, but Auntie Rhonda is like, she's about 30 minutes away from Mum and Dad.
Okay. Well, it's enough to have a different story.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey. So after the Castle Theatre restaurant, we actually went and worked in a Utopia Theatre restaurant. We don't even want to visit that idea again, but then...
It was educating.
Yeah, and then I can't remember what happened. Let's pretend nothing happened for 5 years or something.
Yes.
And then I think Facebook happened, and everyone sort of got
MySpace. I think it was MySpace.
MySpace, yeah. And this probably isn't the way it happened. I'm just going to say it did because this is how I remember. All of a sudden, you were in this cover band. Yeah? And I went, oh,